interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I'm back.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
I like the way you ride with that booty on me.
It's going down.
Go down while you looking lonely.
It's going down.
Come around and it's all on me.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
So, new year, new intro. Let's get it. I'm not so sure if I'm going to promise to be a brand new me this year, but my reactions are going to be a lot differently. I'm not going to be doing the most. I'm not going to be doing above and beyond, and I'm going to stay in my lane. That is how 2026 is going to be from here out. Either roll with me or I'm going to roll over you or around you. Whichever is easier.
Okay, she headed to the dance floor and she slowly starts out popping it. Song like my wrist beats, everybody got to watching it. Girl, you got that secret treasure, I'm gon' put a lock on it. Don't care what they say, I was stupid to be not on it.
Watch me flex. So, I'm not really that surprised that I feel so much better now that I juice. But I did notice one of the things, like, once I consistently drink my hot lemon water and my rosemary ginger tea, I start to feel kind of hungry. It's because actually it's a sign that my metabolism is actually powering up. It's not that sluggish, I'm kind of hungry. This is generally I'm hungry kind of vibe. So why do I feel hungry? Warm lemon water and ginger tea, rosemary ginger tea, they actually add carminatives that stimulate the production of strong stomach acid and bile. This prepares your GI tract for what your brain interprets as honey, and that makes sense. I think my reflux is a little bit worse. So here we go. Rosemary and ginger help improve insulin sensitivity. This is as your body becomes more efficient at moving glucose into cells. Your blood sugar stabilizes, which can trigger a clean hunger signal rather than a sluggish craving. These drinks are hydrating and mildly diuretic. They help to flush your system. Your stomach empties of overnight fluids, making you more physically aware of its emptiness. Got that right. I basically, this morning, now that my garden is at the point where I can actually harvest greens from it, I'm combining them with cranberries that basically I'm creating a powerful synergy to dampen meta-inflammation. Cucumbers contain fisetin, a specialized anti-inflammatory flavonoid that has been studied for its ability to protect nerve cells from age-related decline and reduce the static of systemic inflammation. That means I'm going to need to either do one or two things. I'm going to actually need to either start growing them on my outside garden, as long as I haven't really roached or froze up the pump, and get this going. Celery is a natural vasodilatator due to the phthalate. It helps to lower blood pressure and reduce the workload on my heart. Kale is high in sulfur-containing compounds that are essential for body to produce glutathione, the master antioxidant that neutralizes free radicals before they can trigger an inflammatory response. Swiss chard, which I have not added. I didn't add. So I have some on my garden, but I haven't used any of it yet. I'm probably going to cook that with some garlic later and eat that later. But Swiss chard, that is, provides a powerful antioxidant to support specifically liver detox and protecting blood cells. And ginger has ginger rolls, which inhibit the synthesis of pro-inflammatory cytokines. It's particularly effective at reducing gut-based inflammation. Cranberries are rich in pro-anthioxidants, which prevent bacteria from sticking to cell walls. When juiced with your greens, cranberries provide a massive dose of vitamin C and polyphenols that support urinary tract and cardiovascular health. My recipe, I'm going to modify this. A modified version of this is going to be in the podcast notes, as well as some additions of good fats that basically act as a way to slow down digestion and also enhance the power of the garden greens. Basically keeps you from wanting to punch somebody in the face because you're hangry. You could add a half an avocado, in addition to the addition of pink Himalaya salts and the black pepper that I added, because the pink Himalaya salt balances trace minerals and electrolytes, and the black pepper increases the bioavailability of anti-inflammatory compounds. But when you mix up maybe a bit of the avocado with walnuts or hemp seeds and chia seeds, and as well as pumpkin seeds, these all add great and a tasty dynamic that helps you manage inflammation, which is associated with being a big back and decreasing metabolic stress.
Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. Online, on time, oh so bold. Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. So take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. to know and ways to grow a temporal rainbow. I can be anything. So take a look, it's in a book, a temporal rainbow. A temporal rainbow. A temporal rainbow. I am still navigating my entrepreneurial bag. I'm actually having a lot of fun finally linking the threads between my online bookstore, Far From Beale Street, with now my new FB roasters, where I talk about or have sourced single origin roast, as well as the same with the teas. And also, I still have not been able to progress with my training for forward travel, but hopefully I'll soon be able to get into that more. But I'm doing threading the links and aspirational in the type of clientele that I want and the type of travels and journeys that I want to go on myself, and presenting that to the world. And big shout out to Marbleism. I'm actually having a great time working with the sarcastic assistance that they provide. And I'm being able to do so much more with not just the podcast, but also putting the word out and sending out feelers for potential contacts as I build all of those lines of business. But with that said, I have been able to figure out a subscription model in which potential clients can actually subscribe to either the book of the month, as well as the coffee roast of the month, as well as the tea of the month, through my online coffee shop, FB Roasters. The links to those subscriptions will be in the podcast notes. But in the meantime, I want to just talk a little bit about this book of the month, which I'm still trying to read, The Count of Monte Cristo, but it's 1,000 words, y'all. And I will continue to compare, as well as to take a deeper dive into my reading and study of that in this February, Black History Month. But Ayanna Gray's I, Medusa is this month's book of the month. And it is become, just like The Count of Monte Cristo, a cultural touchstone because it explores social death and the rebirth of someone. In Gray's novel, she basically provides a feminist restoration arc in one of history's most vilified figures. It's just like Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, getting her due and her backstory in Wicked, and all of the accolades that Cynthia Erivo has received for that. Basically, the core concept for I, Medusa is the Black Medusa. It's a radical choice to reimagine Medusa in the book. She's named Medi as a Black heroine. It's her locks. Gray leans into the rich thematic potential of Black hair. Medi's hair is not just a feature, it's an expression of her identity, culture, and care. When Athena, yes, the goddess Athena, transformed the locks into snakes, it just isn't a curse of ugliness. It's a violation of her heritage and the ultimate othering of her body. Just like our coarse, curly hair, that was one of the premises for conks and relaxers. So I get it. And we were made to think that our natural features, including our hair, for centuries have been noted as ugly. Now it's okay to be natural, says one with the afro. It's a exploration of the outsider status. In the marble white high society world of Athens, Medi is already an outsider. Her monstrosity is framed as a societal construct used to silence a survivor who doesn't quite fit the perfect victim mode. The mortal being in the cage of domesticity, Medi grows up on an island as the only mortal daughter of minor sea gods, Persist and Seto. It explores the weight of mortality. While her sisters are butterflies with golden blood, Medi feels like a common moth. The monster begins here, not in her looks, but in the internal feeling of being less than or different from her divine family. Medi travels to Athens to become a priestess in Athena's temple. She believes she is finally gaining agency. There's a rape culture through the character of Poseidon, another immortal. He doesn't appear as a monster initially. He appears as a charming friend and confidant. This part highlights how grooming and manipulation work within power dynamics. Now we're in the midst of this whole Epstein file debacle, and we're talking about pedophiles masked in cloaks of Christianity and benevolence. Medi's devotion to Athena is tested, and we see how institutions like the temple often value purity and rules over the actual safety of the women within them. The betrayal is the center of the book, where Poseidon rapes Maddie, and Athena, rather than punishing him, punishes the survivor for desecrating her temple. This is an indictment of female complicity. Athena is portrayed not as a wise protector, just Lane, but as a jealous enforcer of a patriarchal status quo. What's her name? Bondi and Gnome. The curse is a way for the gods to hide their own failures by making the victim too terrifying to look at. But then Maddie, the monster, becomes a vigilante where she uses rage as a tool. She accepts it and she writes her own story or regains control of her narrative. Maddie stops trying to be the good girl the gods wanted and starts using her power to protect those the gods ignore. She, notably the name Perseus, is intentionally omitted or minimized, shifting the focus away from the hero who slays her and toward her choice to live and die on her own terms. The parallel between this and Count of Monte Cristo is why we as middle-aged readers are revisiting Dumas with his themes of reinvention, and in Medusa for exploration of righteous fury. In a world where people are increasingly skeptical of godlike celebrities and politicians, Gray's portrayal of the Olympians as narcissistic, untouchable elites feels incredibly timely. The Medusa tattoo movement, using Medusa's image as a modern symbol for survivors of sexual assault. Her book provides, this is Gray's book that is, provides a definitive narrative for this movement, turning the monster into a martyr. We look at the catalyst for violation of identity. Dante's transformation is triggered by Villefort. This is the proxy for the Bourbon monarchy. This is all the Black Republicans that stand in the gap for the Republican Party. He does it, Villefort, that is, does this by burning the letter and stripping Dante's of his name and being replaced by prisoner number 34. Effectively, from a societal standpoint, the state murders the sailor. His transformation is a response to this legal erasure. Medusa's transformation in the cave is triggered by Athena, the proxy for divine authority. She turns her locks into serpents. The goddess violates Medes' physical agency. She was violated by Poseidon, and now Athena, her protector, violates her again by changing the locks into snakes. Her transformation in the cave is response to this physical and spiritual violation. The characters don't transform in total isolation. They require some type of guide to help them understand the new monstrous power. For Dantes, it was the Abbey Farrier. For Medusa was her mirror. This mentor shows her her own reflection, and also not just the mirror, but the voices of the serpents. In the cave, she must move past the horror of her reflection and see the utility of the curse. When she realizes she can petrify those who come to harm her, that is her graduation. She realized that being a monster means she can never, ever be a victim again. So she goes from villain to now victor. Just like in The Count of Monte Cristo, Dante escapes his cell. His skin is turned a deathly corpse-like pallor from the lack of sun. And his voice changes too. He becomes almost like the ghost of himself before he basically regains his color and then goes on to exact vengeance on the people that did him wrong. For Medusa, the transformation of her locks into snakes is a reimagining of her crown. In the cave, she learns to wear her monsters. The serpents are not separate from her. They are an extension of her own nervous system. This change represents the externalization of her internal trauma. There's a symmetry when you talk about the Count. He wants the enemies to suffer exactly what he suffered: hunger and the loss of family. For Medusa, she seeks to create a sanctuary where the gods cannot reach. For the Count, or Dantes, his power source is gold and knowledge, while Medusa's is rage and nature. Both climax. When Dantes leaves the cave as the Count of Monte Cristo, he actually has a fortune to destroy the city. He founds a treasure that his country buying. Real money. Medusa turns her caves into a fortress to stop the cycle of abuse. Both are cultural, in the cultural context of 2026. The 19th century text, the scenes resonate because they depict the social death. Dantes and Medusa are both buried alive by society that find them inconvenient. Their transformation in their cell/cave is the moment they decide that if the world will not give them justice, they will become the avatars of justice themselves. And that's where I'm going to start and to be able to finish the recording for the purposes of the podcast, because that's a lot. And as I continue to dive deeper into the Count of Monte Cristo before the end of the month, I'll probably go back and revisit and expand upon the comparisons between the Count of Monte Cristo and I, Medusa. Both are shaping up to be a great read, and I hope you enjoy it. Please leave a message in the show notes wherever you listen to the podcast and let me know what you think for your own self as far as the subscription, but also what you think of I, Medusa, and the Count of Monte Cristo. And as always, thank you for listening. My apologies to Henry Mancini, but a riff on the Pink Panther theme is in alignment with a podcast segment dedicated to a fictional PI and all about true crime, or fictional crime in this case. Don't you think? So, in this part of the scams day after, I'm going to just touch on about 3 different incidents. One is a New England man basically tries to play in people's face, pose as a crypto expert to unsuspecting people online, scams them out of about $1 million large, and then goes to the online casinos and lose it all. Girl, look, I've said this and I'll continue to say this. No reputable financial advisors, crypto or otherwise, will reach out to you unsolicited online because they don't have to. There are so many reputable people, either through online investment broker like Charles Schwab or any other investment bank. They're not just going to reach out to you and scam money directly from you. It should not happen, but it did happen. This Red Stepojic was finally arrested on multiple counts of providing false statements to IRS criminal investigations, 7 counts of wire fraud, and 11 counts of international money laundering. Furthermore, if there is some type of financial information that they say is top secret and you want to get in on the ground floor, be very, very wary and careful. What they're trying to say and get you in trouble for is also insider trading and any clawback for any ill-gotten gains that you may have received funds ill-gotten gains and then invested those funds or used the advice and got bank. The government is not only going to come after you for the money, but then any clawback with interest that you would have made from taking that advice. That's how they play. They play the long game and they're going to get their money. Also, in California, I'm using California, these fools in Burbank, unbeknownst to the homeowner and the seller, colluded to sell somebody's house that wasn't up for sale and to a buyer of the house because the house was never originally up for sale. They didn't find out until one of the conspirators got a massive $1.5 million wire, and that basically triggered the entire investigation. So everybody's going to jail, and all of them need to be ashamed of themselves. I just think it's way too easy for people to pose and get your shit illegally, and then this was back in 2024, 2022, 2024, and now it's 2026, and they just are being charged. Girl, I can't. I really can't. I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? And then I've spent a large amount of my time basically posting a combination, and I have a vision board of me booking below deck style travel married with books and with coffee, using the Parsifal 3, which is a luxury sailing yacht from Below Deck Sailing Yacht. Well, lo and behold, this past week, Gary King from said show, Below Deck Sailing Yacht, was accused Tuesday of essay of a makeup artist on the show. Samantha Suarez alleges that she and her then boyfriend camera operator Gray Duddleston were both fired for speaking up against King's alleged misconduct. If anybody has seen this show, they've seen his antics on at least 4 of the 5 seasons of the show. And I was wondering, was it going to come back? Because I hadn't heard anything. And I just keep rewatching the show, like the previous episodes, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I don't enjoy watching him over drink. I didn't enjoy watching how his face and his whole countenance took on the whole tone of a drunk and cigarette smoker. But she alleges in her lawsuit, because they actually sued him, Bravo, and NBC in the LA Superior Court. This is what she said. He, in 2022, asked her to sleep with him in his bed after he got drunk while completing interviews for the show. I've seen episodes where he gets blotto drunk. He actually has slept with other crew members from the deck. He seemed to be kind of inappropriate with Daisy. I've seen all of that on the show, but the reality was actually versed in what actually made it to the camera. Because Suarez, and her boyfriend both reported his antics. The production company promised to do something, which they didn't, and then eventually fired both of them and put them on the do not hire list, which is actually reserved for people like King, not them, the victims that reported the bad behavior. Now all of them are in jeopardy and may have been canceled. Why is the show not probably going to come back? We see Daisy on Below Deck Mediterranean, and I haven't heard anything from the little short captain that could from the Parzival. It would be a shame that he was allowed to operate being a sexual predator for this many seasons, and they're finally doing when there's a multi-million-dollar lawsuit at hand. So what happened? That brings me back to what happens when we don't see it all. If we know his behavior was awful that we saw on screen, how bad really was it? What never made it to the cutting room floor? What else are we not witnessing on these shows? I think the cover-up is what I find mostly concerning for a show that I find significantly entertaining and that I want to be invested in getting potential clients on these vessels. But the production, I'm hoping, is far from the reality. I would want my clients to feel safe and not being in the midst of predators that get out of the scrutiny of these production companies. Hopefully I'll be able to update you as this story evolves. And if I hear anything from Bravo about them proceeding with this show, because personally I enjoyed it. And if you look at my images that I've actually uploaded of the Parzival in the podcast notes, you'll see why, or on my Instagram, you'll basically see why I am so in love with this boat. It is a thing of beauty, especially when they're at full sail. So it would just be a shame if it didn't come back by the actions of one bad character. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of unholy amount of information, ungodly information that's coming out on the reality TV world. And what better yet of using the instrumental of Unholy as I record on this glorious Sunday morning. I waited to make sure I watched the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion twice, as I always do. And I've come to the same conclusion over and over again. Stacey Rush is not to be effed with. She is astonishingly, she's a beautiful woman, but she lives in her delusion and she don't care. And I find it hilarious. And it's also refreshing. What I also saw is Wendy, even when she was saying she was going through it, her wig was glued down, her face was beat. Wendy is going to show up as the best version of herself, and it's kind of off-putting because you can still see that there's trouble in the force. And even though I can truly say I'm not a fan of Ashley Darby, that is how Angel should have come at her, like at all of them during the season. If they kept coming for her, the snap back in the moment makes more sense than waiting to become, trying to be a confessional assassin, and using big words that we know you don't use in everyday life. We know you watch the show. Wendy put you on blast. You were supposed to come in and have Janelle as your big sister, but you still was uncomfortable with who you are now to be able to portray to be that girl. And you also should have watched Atlanta and watched Drew Sidora sit on the edge of that couch and gather all those girls. I'm just saying. I'm not in it for... She just seems closed. And I don't know if something is coming and she's going to show a spark of who she could be. You have nothing to lose because I don't think nobody has been given contracts yet. So here we go. Giselle is just messy. And she just did her thing, and she was rightfully so that she was not in first chair because she just kept the story moving, but there wasn't a whole bunch of personal story. I am also noticing that Married to Medicine, Toya is still on a one note, and she is so clueless about why she can't understand why the rest of the women are not contributing now that she's getting all of this stuff together, when she has done nothing but give us a couple of bottled wines the last time. But Quad has a long min and she is petty and she is going to hold her to the feet. Why are you coming for me to donate when you have done nothing the previous two? Girl, bye. And I also think the star of this episode was also Quad, because the way their encounter seemed off once Quad got back to Atlanta. And I think they broke up somewhere during this season when they were taping, but they didn't make the announcement until recently. Kind of like how she was with him almost a whole year before they had a hard launch on the show. So I don't know, but I do feel so bad for her in her journey. It wasn't supposed to be an issue. That's why she wasn't going to freeze eggs and have. Can you imagine her having to freeze eggs or have some embryos and then have a contentious childhood or a custody battle with Greg Lunsford? Girl, he is out of her life. She hasn't been with him. She said it really loudly for 7 years. I can't imagine her going through that. and this may seem harsh, but just as well that she did not have successful embryos and implantation, because I don't think it may not have ever been in in the cards for her to have any type of long-term connection with King. He has his own legal issues, I'm sure, and they seem to now they are unequally yoked. So there you go. Well, the Super Bowl happened this past week, and it is currently Valentine's Day. I can't even tell you. Actually, I do know who won the Super Bowl. I don't know what the actual score was. The Seattle Seahawks won, and I'm happy about that because it's a she, billionaire, Trump hater, lover. But you know what everybody is truly, and why I stayed up, and the only most I watched from the beginning to end was Bad Bunny's halftime show. Oh, and Coco, she sung the Black National Anthem. Beautiful. I was moving and grooving. Did I know anything he was talking about? No. I'm going to have to watch it again because I want to move and groove, because they played a rip of Gasolina. Gaga performed in the same blue as the original Puerto Rican flag. I saw, and then Ricky Martin was in there moving and grooving, saying something profound. Puerto Rico can't become like Hawaii, losing its identity that they've been trying to claw back for centuries. A lot of wonderful imagery. The music was bomb. And then, instead of just being proud and just having fun and the beauty of the performance, a lot of people let their racist flag fly. Why couldn't you just sat down? Jill Zarin, her daughter said, don't do that. Give me your phone, log off, go to sleep. She, in her stupid face, basically said, where were all the white people? Gaga. She didn't understand anything he was saying. Maybe that was the point. But you could still have a great time, and it was wonderful, a wonderful, wonderful performance. What she did do, keep talking, because now we know where you stand. That other bitch from OC Reject, now we know where you stand. Both of y'all are dumb. Bethany Frankel, you've really steal the ticket, and from what I've heard, people have been calling you out for years. Basically, she has a whole bunch of money and not a whole bunch to lose. And now we don't want to see her dumb face. You've done more for Puerto Rico than anybody. Girl, shut up. Again, shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Why do these white privileged women think that people are going to tolerate anything they have to say when it's negative? When it's from a place of racism and being small-minded? Nobody wants that. And definitely E don't want that smoke. Basically, Bravo, behind the scenes, they didn't want that smoke because the reboot that moved over to the other network, E, now is going to proceed without you. Because you couldn't shut up. You just could not be a human and recognize being a human. I also hope this solidifies her dumb face forever being on any Bravo show, i.e. she was on Below Deck, season 11, ran poor Anthony, the chef, ragged, and she wasn't even in the primary with her broke ass. So with that said, go and stay in your own private group chat. Nobody wants to see you. We don't want to see you as a friend of, because you're a friend of no one, and you need to get a basic education because you're dumb as hell. And that's all I got to say on Jill Zarin of it all. And if you also want somebody gathering her all the way up, you need to listen to Reality with the King, Carlos King, and Monica Garcia's breakdown of the tragedy that is her and that other lady. I can't even remember that other lady's name. So y'all need to watch that. It's the YouTube. The Monte Carlo show was all of that, and I loved it. It seems like the most drama happens off screen and in between season on these housewife shows. For instance, we have Chris Bassett, who I actually had a bunch of respect for. Followed him through his and Candace's journey as he supported her while she was on the show, and then her music career, and then when they had their baby. He basically fixed his mouth to say, in the Blackest of Black month, his biracial child saying the N-word with the hard R. Boy, shut up. That's what I'm going to call this section. Boy, just shut up. Just stop talking. Y'all just going to really need to stop talking. And who else am I going to need to stop talking? This is another Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I have no interest in watching Kyle and Dorit box over stupid shit. I have no interest in, if y'all not going to bring any concrete proof or receipts that we can see and the audience can digest, I have no interest in the Dorit and PK of it all if I'm only seeing nothing. We're seeing Dorit verbalize a lot of stuff, but we're not seeing the actual receipts, and that's going to get tired for the toxicity. Nor am I interested in Amanda forcing the girls into one of her manifestation classes. IRL. I'm not interested in that. Not at all. No fucking way. NFW. Because I felt Bose and Erica Jane's pain when they said they were in there receiving their Amazon bought journals when they could have been being glamorous in the Hamptons. They could have basically crashed a house up there. They could have basically been able to look at priceless dresses from Rachel Zoe and met Donna Karen and just be fabulous. That would have been more fun than watching that low budget manifestation class. The home was pretty, but it was just also fake and produced, and nobody cares. I don't know if she is what is it called? What is Iyanla Van Zandt? I don't even think she's qualified to be even called to be some type of advisor. I think she wants to manifest and exude such a rich, positive life, but I'm not so sure if it is, and at this point, I don't care. I'm tired of her pouting like a toddler. It's not cute. I don't care. Dorit wears labels. She don't use her kids as expensive accessories. I wonder if what we're seeing is who she is, and who she is just boring. And I don't know. I like the mess, but I like the mess with some substance. And I don't think I'm going to be able to start to develop a liking to her because she can't even tolerate being called a wimp. Girl, shut up. She can shut up too. I would tell Mo to shut up if he wasn't so fine, But if you're not going to come and actually be helpful, then you need to shut up too. I don't think Dorit is going to be in a place, because right now she's just mad and everything is unsteady, and I think they're blaming each other for stuff. But if you're not going to be productive and have some way, some viable solution to end the stalemate instead of who shot John stuff, yeah, you need to shut up. So, but anyways, that's just my 2 cents. Dorit, girl, you're rapidly becoming a hated member of the Real House of Beverly Hills. I personally am not going to be able to continue to watch you screech and yell at Kyle. I'm not going to continue. We know that you are upset. You're angry. You filed over a year ago. Learn some other tact. I know you're not in a great place, but you continuing to bash that man who cannot answer for himself in real time is not a good look. You're going to have to get on some serious therapy, eat a real meal, and get somebody under management that can manage you, because this crash out for another year is not tenable to you being considered a fan favorite. I know I'm personally tired of hearing you screech. I'm also tired of not seeing the receipts. I'm only truly seeing a part of the story. You're only verbalizing a part of the story. I need backup. If you don't got the receipts, keep it pushing. Also, you're lucky that you don't have to go to Amanda's house. Great. But you're going to need somebody along the lines of Iyanla Vanzant to get your life together, to fix your life, because what we're seeing, this continuous crash out because your marriage is ending, yeah, you're going to have to get it together, girl, and come from a different angle, because the bash and PK train and he can't answer for himself is not it. It really isn't.
Morning, like frantic.
I've been exposed to you for approximately 3.5 seconds, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that of all the people that Jill needed to call about her PR racism disaster, I don't know that I would have put you on that list, but go on.
That she,
I know, structured English sentences can be very hard for some of us. You know what's actually funny is that English is my second language and I'm an immigrant, and yet I don't seem to have that problem.
Us Weekly wrote about her, and then I went to go work out. No, then I was listening to Jeff Lewis on my way to the gym.
For any of you that have raised or interacted with a toddler at any point in your life, this is oddly reminiscent. Kelly Dodd has been crashing out on Instagram and her TikTok over my video of her. Originally, she tagged me in the video, so I was able to share it and share my response. Predictably, she didn't like my response. They were too intelligent and spot on. She then blocked me. Of course, she deleted a bunch of her racist rants about me. Here's the thing, Kelly, which it's amazing to me that you have not figured this out yet. The internet lives on forever. So a bunch of people have your videos living on in infamy on Reddit threads. So let's go through some of these videos and chat about them, shall we?
This lady is a plastic surgeon. Well, we all know plastic surgeons are the worst of all kinds of medicine. Like, that's like the lowest of the totem pole. We all know that.
Kelly, it's very obvious to all of us why you may not like plastic surgeons. I mean, after multiple interventions, that's what my face looked like. I would carry a grudge too.
Fix it first before you come in after me, and starting with that, okay? Look at yourself, you fugs.
Kelly, what you don't understand is that you can spend all day with your filters and full face of makeup criticizing what I look like. It doesn't matter, because I can come on here with no makeup, no filters, in a bathrobe, because I have more moral clarity in the crooked canine than you do in your whole spine.
And she's saying that I can't pronunciate.
Coming online to...
This had me dying, rolling in my seat. I am so glad that The algorithm. The algorithm was spot on when they bought me double, maybe triple board certified Dr. Srinivasa, who is specialty in breast cancer, reconstructive surgery, microvascular surgery. This girl, and Kelly Dodd with her messed up face went after her. First, let's look at the evidence. Why would Jill Zarin go to another overprivileged white housewife with a botched facelift? Girl, bye. You should try to be befriending the plastic surgeon so they may get rid of your botched face. Why y'all crashing out? Taylor Armstrong, y'all need to just get off my feed. The algorithm needs to get y'all off my feed. I'm watching one of the stupidest racist individual go after a board certified, double board certified, maybe triple board certified surgeon because she in her privilege tries to live in, and they just operate in stupidity. They realize that people are not going to come after them for the irony of it all. And when you go up against all of them, all the D's, all the degrees, girl, shut up and get out of my face. And then we got, what's her name? Oh my God, the former Morgan, Sonia Morgan, saying, oh yes, all of my friends are Latino. Girl, no, they not. Because you in the same bag as Ramona and Jill. All of y'all privileged bitches need to have a seat. And Sonia, you still, after being married to the long generational money of the former Morgan clan, now you still on the brink of bankruptcy after all of this. And it's been alleged that y'all have been tripping for years, but y'all have been allowed. All of y'all are MAGA maggots. All of y'all been allowed to operate in racist obscurity. And we are so tired of being a part of the never-ending story of the stupid and useless former Real Housewife Twilight Zone. I'm tired. And a lot of people are tired. That's why all of y'all are being canceled. And if you did have something in the works on the Bravo platform, it's all dried up. All these crash outs, people that you kind of suspected that they were crash out, we're basically saying this is some NASCAR driver whiplash-ish that we're just seeing for the ages. Bethany Frankel, who I thought had a little bit of money, but she's just going down in infamy because people are bringing the receipts that she has always defended the defenseless rich. She wanted to frame Jill's rant as classic Jill, a boomer who just doesn't know better. But then Uno reversed her. The internet has Uno reversed her ass. They basically have put together a reel of Bethany's greatest racist hits, including her commentary on Meghan Markle, her urban marketing critiques, and it basically makes us reminiscent of Jill's current meltdown. It turns out standing up for a friend's cultural insensitivity is real hard when your own track record is crazy. But Kelly Dodd crashing out, her primary credential is being loud and wrong, intellectually deficient and proud of it, trying to explain cold fusion like a toddler to a double board certified scientist, medical doctor like Dr. Savasana, and making fun of the fact that she can't even string together English words in which English is her primary language. She's being lapped by this woman, this MD, who is an immigrant, proud of it, English as a second language, and can gather her, read her for filth while putting on her own glam. and looks great with no makeup on, unlike Kelly's botched resin-filled face, little ass nose. I don't understand. This whole legacy reboot, all of these legacy Real Housewife bitches, and all are on some grand delusional tour. We're basically, what we're seeing in real time makes me shiver at what we have been not privy to in private, because we haven't been a part of the group chat since the Super Bowl. So what have these fools been saying for the last 18, 20 years? I don't want to know. All I am noticing is this mess is getting on my nerves, for real, for real. And Taylor Armstrong, I can never remember her because she was so regrettably forgettable. She basically can't understand. She's in her own lane. I don't get why you basically pop up. You choose to pop up because shutting up is free. You choose to pop up and co-sign racism when you either could have been quiet or you could have just danced along with the rest of us. That would have been more positive. You wouldn't have lost 3,000 followers. You only probably had 3,001, so now you only are followed by yourself. You could have just did us all a service and just shut up and danced along, and we would have been cool. But you had to basically go on your own rant, basically co-sign foolishness, and then become a PR nightmare. You're not going to come back from this. You thought you were going to be a part of some OG reunion. No, you're regrettably forgettable. Nobody wants to see this Twilone shit of the racist stupidity of former housewives. You basically fumbled your bag by co-signing with what is obviously wrong. And if before all of y'all come from the diva doctor, y'all better go have a seat, and y'all better relook at them reels on IG. If somebody can get you all together while putting on their glam, why? Oh my God, that's the other thing. Why she was looking prettier than any of them fools by just putting on Vaseline on her lips. That was hilarious. She was probably one of the most she is probably one of the most beautiful women I have seen in medicine. Married to her husband for 13 years, still in a loving relationship, and still looks awesome. Go hit the like and follow, because Dr. Servasa is funny as hell, and you better hope that she's on your case if you need reconstruction after having mastectomy, after having breast cancer. Girl, bye. Kelly Dodd, have a seat. I'm tired. So I forgot to even add this to, it's not a crash out, but I knew something was up. I knew I had an issue with Amanda and why they were coming for this bitch so hard. Amanda is one of the newest additions to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And it appears that her mugshot, of all places, have resurfaced on the internet from 2016 from her charges for a DUI. She has gone on to say it's been dismissed, but at the same time, why did it exist in the first place? She basically has manifested a whole other persona. She's on some list where she, like Sheena from, what is that? The other housewife with a botched facelift, Lisa Vanderpump show. Tactics that are along the lines of the cult that she may have escaped from. All of that said, we're probably going to be witness to another crash out in real time. I'm not going to be privy to it on this show if they keep showing her giving out Amazon purchase journal for them to journal during her scenes, and then watch her be and pout and be mad because somebody called her a wimp. wimp. Why don't you manifest a personality and stand up to these bitches and stop being fake and so submissive? That's not going to fly even on a show that is as vapid and superficial as Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Girl, you're going to need to get it together, because I'm not going to be able to watch you manifest nothing if this, how that scene went for the rest of the season. You can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take hood music out the girl. But I'm going to end this with a word, just as I started this podcast. Do or do not do. There is no try. And that's a word from Yoda. I hope I have conveyed just how much fun I have had in creating this podcast. I've got my mojo back. Just set your intention or reset your intention. It could be daily if necessary. Mine is peace. No mental dumping over here. If I'm acting like I'm not listening, I'm probably not. I'm not your therapist. I'm not a therapist. Keep the crazy to yourself, child. You do you and leave me be. The sooner you figure that ish out, the happy you will be. So this is what I want to convey in this podcast. And that wraps another of FAFFO has a fro. Join me next time as I throw shade and point out the shade and simply have fun. Y'all have a great new year. What, y'all? What?